And I think we're going to take questions now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Teresa.
Okay, I have a question. So, in the fall, my stepdaughter and I went online to look up birth control methods. She's 21. And I wasn't really happy with the choices. And I'm pretty kind of out of that because I don't have to worry about it anymore. And I told her when I was younger, I used diaphragm and condoms, and I never got pregnant. So I would like to know, what is your healthy suggestion for birth control?
For me, I mean,
Anybody?
Jenny.
I'm necessarily not. I'm not pro hormones because it doesn't filter out of your liver. I usually put women who are on a birth control pill on a liver cleansing supplement just to help their body get rid of the excess hormones. Anytime you take anything from the outside that's synthetic, your body has to process it. Actually, anything you take in your body, your liver has to process. So it kind of builds up in the liver. I support the barrier methods. I think that they're very effective, and I don't think they're at all mood inhibiting. I think it's easy for people to take the pill, but it also doesn't prevent sexually transmitted diseases, and it I think it makes for more of a sexually active lifestyle without a care, and I think people really need to pay attention to their sexual lifestyle.
Yeah, I support barrier methods too because of STIs, STDs, and it's a good birth control anyway, and that's condoms, dental dams, etc. I like the IUD. The IUD has evolved over time, and the current ones that are out there, Paragard and Mirena, are great. Mirena does have a little bit of progestin in it, so again, maybe a liver detox or something. But I think it's a great form of birth control, the IUD, because you don't have to think about it. You can't mess up your schedule on the pill or take the wrong placebo in the wrong place. Condoms, sometimes people just say, oh, well, not this time. And then not this time happens to be the time they get pregnant. So I think the less you have to think about it, the better. That's just my opinion with it. And, again, I would explore with her what are her sexual habits, in terms of does she have conversations with her partner, and those kinds of things.
Yeah, that last piece is really crucial, Teresa, to be able to have the conversation with her and have it be a teaching moment and an opportunity to really build your relationship and not separate you two.
Yeah, that's what we were doing. I mean, I wasn't, it might have sounded like I, was trying to decide for her. It was more about, let's look, but it's up to her really to decide what's right for her.
Yeah, and to work through the choices with her and talk through them with her. Yeah, that's great. Good.
Is there another question?
Another question?
I have a question on the anti-inflammation diet. In fact, I just went to a doctor and this is what they gave me. And I mean, this is a lot of change at once. How do you recommend, it's like no eggs, no beef, no dairy, no this, no wheat, no sugar, no, it's crazy. Do you do this all at once and just die? Or, or do you, I have eggs almost every day. Why are eggs bad for you?
Some people are allergic to eggs.
What if you're not?
Well, that's the finding out, is the food diary. You eliminate something from your diet and see how you feel, and then you can add it back in and see how you feel. And you can monitor your own symptoms. There are tests that you can do. There are blood tests you can send out to find out what you are allergic to. And so if you're not allergic to those things and they don't cause inflammation, then you can eat them. But a lot of people are allergic to eggs. A lot of people are allergic to dairy. There's goat. Dairy is an alternative, but I have patients that will do everything but the dairy, and they said, I have to have dairy. Where I've had patients that, this is what I noticed. I've been in chiropractic, and that's how I started, and I do very specific kind of chiropractic that's really accurate and gets to the problem very, very quickly. When people don't hold their adjustments, when I work on them, I find out why. Are we just peeling the layers off of what's really going on with them, or is there something in their diet and their lifestyle that's creating an inflammatory process that's affecting their joints, their muscles, their nervous system? So I have people take things out of their diet. You can come to our detox class.
But not all at once, not every
Well,
single
the
thing
class
on
is
here.
all at once, and it's not as, it is pretty strict, but the people that say that they're like, I can't give up my beef, I can't give up my wine, I can't give up my coffee. You really do the best that you can. You wean yourself off of different things, and by the end, people say, you know what, I don't have the cravings for the dairy that I had, I don't have the craving for the beef, and when I did, I had a piece of fish, and that's okay. I mean, you get a chance to do detoxes consistently. You don't have to just do it once. It's not going to change your life. Is that my time?
No, it's just speaking because I turned it off.
Okay. You have a chance to do it over and over and over again. You're never going to do a 3 or 2 week detox and your life is going to be magically different. The reason you're magically different is psychologically you make better choices. So you can try to follow the things on the list. You can choose the ones that you're going to do this week. You can choose to do 3 or 4 of them at a time. You don't have to do them all at the same time. It's really drastic. And again, these women that are in our group, the 50 to 65-year-old women, they all freaked out, and they didn't know that they were going to have to cook all the time, and it's really about making better decisions when you go to restaurants, and not just going for the things with the, the fat and the things that, like nightshade vegetables tend to cause inflammation in the joint, and a lot of times people get off of nightshades, which is tomatoes, eggplants, white potatoes, peppers, it's on that list. Their joint pain goes away. And so they might think, well, I have arthritis, and they come and they label themselves, I have arthritis. What they have is an inflammatory process in their joints that may or may not cause, the arthritis is a bony change. You can see it on an x-ray. If they don't have that, they just have joint pain, what is causing the joint pain? What is the original source of this particular problem? And that's what the main food diary is. So
I have one more question.
Sure.
What do you think about the HCG diet?
That's the part I just
I'm not the right person to ask. I think any kind of exogenous hormones that you put into your body, you're really playing with fire. You're not, it's something you can get on the internet, and it's a hormone. You're really changing your body's metabolism, you're changing the way that your body functions. In 500 calories, you're starving yourself. You're nutrient deficient. I think that if you eat anti-inflammatory foods, and the idea of eat less, move more is what I try to talk to people. And if they are really insistent on doing the HCG diet, I'm not the practitioner that, I don't manage that particular diet for them. I know people that have done, my mother's done it. And she's on all kinds of supplements that I give her, but she was determined that this is what she wanted to do. So I really couldn't even manage her.
We have time for 2 more questions.
Thank you so much to the panel for all of this. Deborah, I have a question for you. I've been on thyroid replacement for 29 years. Does the thyroid die after that?
Your
is it dead at this
thyroid
point?
is dying, and when you have a synthetic hormone that takes over, anytime you take a hormone that's you're taking over your body, your gland starts to die.
So after 29 years,
Your
is it
thyroid,
post-mortem?
your thyroid, and that's why they keep testing it to find out how much tissue damage, how much death of the thyroid there is. So I'm not saying get off of the hormones by any chance. I'm saying find out if yours is caused by, actually I didn't show you guys this book. This is called Why Do I Still Have Thyroid Symptoms Even Though My Lab Tests Are Normal. It came out last year. It's actually, his name is Datis Karazian, and I actually take a lot of classes with him, and he looks at the body as not just a hormone problem, it's a neurological issue and an immune issue, and he looks at the body as a three-dimensional. You're three-dimensional people, respect that three-dimension of you. You're not just hormone deficient or thyroid deficient, there's other mechanisms that are happening. There are thyroid conditions that are just maybe a lack of iodine, or there are a lack of some kinds of hormones or neurotransmitters of the brain. just to find out what you are, and if you want to know the name of the test, that you can find out if you have Hashimoto's, and then treat yourself with that. But yeah, your thyroid gland is unfortunately post-mortem at this point, unfortunately.
Memorial service to be held
Yes,
next
yeah.
week. And Donna invited me to make this next statement. I'm also a therapist, and there are nonverbal ways of working through physical, emotional, relational pain that a few of us do who are in the room. And if you're interested in some of those, I'm happy to talk to you.
Thank you. Was there another question?
Okay, Cindy, last question.
Oh, one. So this is a question, I guess, for all three, but maybe starting with Dr. Jenny. So talking to your partner about sex seems like the hardest possible thing to do, and it's so crucial in relationship. And so I wonder if maybe as a closing thing, if you all have some comments to offer about how to, in a considerate and productive way, talk to your partner about sex, especially when something is going wrong.
I always say it's much easier to have sex than talk about it. Very point blank. Turn off the lights, close your mouths. And I see it all the time. And sometimes couples come in and it's not till like session 4 or 5 that the anxiety starts to release and they're like, okay, I can talk about sex. It's an anxiety-provoking conversation if you've never talked about it. It's like, let's talk about algebra and you've never talked about algebra in your whole life. You know, you'll start to sweat. So it can be as easy as, hey, we've never had this conversation. You know, what would a conversation like this look like? But you mentioned in the second part, if something's going wrong, which is usually when people start to think, let's talk about sex. And I don't like to start with what's going wrong. Start with what's going right. And start there as an invitation. And I kind of put out this idea of the invitation rule, that you strip no out of your vocabulary. So if your partner says, let's have sex, and you will say no, say, well, how about instead of, I say instead of. So instead of no, you say, instead of sex, how about sensual massage? Or maybe a rain check. You know, something that doesn't say no so blatantly. But again, with that invitation rule, I really love it when you kiss my neck. I really love it when you kiss my breasts. I'm not so into the elbow, or I'm not so into, you know, I'm just throwing, I don't know what's going wrong in your relationship, but.
I'll see you after.
Okay. All right, here's a common one. I really love it when you start with my whole body and you kiss my neck and you kiss my shoulders and you sensually caress me. You know, it makes me feel really turned on than when you just jump to the genitals. Because oftentimes there's just the jump to the genitals. And this way it's not saying, please don't jump to the genitals, I really don't like that. It's saying, I really like it when you do this. So there's that positive validation and starting with the positive before you give that sort of negative feedback. And think about how you want to give that negative feedback, because oftentimes partners will take it really personally.
That's pretty personal, isn't it?
I don't have anything to add to that. You?
I was gonna just, you know, make a joke and use sound effects, but that's what came to my mind.
The sound of sex?
The sound effects. Yeah!
Could you do that in the microphone, Jen?
Yeah, that's a great point. Once you've opened the conversation of, we're going to discuss our sex lives and what's going well and what's not going well, you can have lots of different games, but I give couples a couple different games to think about, and one would be the cold, warm, hot. So if you're playing sort of the body as a topographical map and you're going to go trekking through and map your body and all the erogenous zones, you know, Donna may say, this is cold, warm, hot, 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 love the elbow. We're making fun of the elbow here, but my point is, and I hope you don't mind me touching you, is as you map the body, if it's easier to say cold, warm, hot, or a number game, 0 is bored out of your mind and 10 is stay there. And so having a spectrum of discussion with your partner, what makes sense for you guys in terms of let's map the bodies. A really fun intimacy date, by the way, to map the bodies.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you all. We enjoyed it, and I hope that you enjoyed it. And thanks so much.